Oh, what's good, everybody? Welcome into the Coach and Company podcast. We have fresh content every single weekday. We do this live on YouTube and on social media about 15 minutes after Coach and Company is done live on the Stadium Network. You can catch all of our shows, including this podcast, on our YouTube channels. We have two of them, BTT and also Coach and Company. Now, today, I brought a little help. I brought my numbers guy for a reason. Raphael, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. What a fantastic weekend we're coming off, and I can't wait for a big cashing week.
A cashing week. I like how that sounds. For people who are finding our little podcast here for the first time, thank you. If you're watching us live, thank you. If you'd like to have your voice be heard, you can do that through a super sticker in the chat on YouTube. Raphael, so normally on Mondays, we kind of look back at some of the bigger stories from the weekend. And I don't know that I've ever seen in the history of my fandom where a flagrant foul in a women's basketball game overshadowed and got more views and more attention than the Knicks knocking out the defending NBA champions and Scottie Scheffler joining Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus as the only players to have 15 wins and 3 majors before their 29th birthday. But it was all about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Are you surprised?
Not really. I mean, this is what we're all jonesing for. We were jonesing for this huge rivalry last year when they were both rookies, and now Caitlin Clark's a little beefed up, got some tone in her arms, got a new crew behind her. I was just really excited that we didn't focus on the push that Angel Reese did before Caitlin Clark pretty much hacked her. But I agree with what Caitlin Clark said. You know what? I am not going to let her have an easy 2 points. Earn your points at the free throw line. Shoot your free throws. So I respect what she said, but boy, was this good for the game.
Night one, day one, whatever you want to call it. And this is the other thing, Raphael, that I found amusing. And this is why on the wrestling side, I hate dirt sheets. I hate most websites because they come from a place of how do I get the most clicks? How do I get the most clicks? And so the video was cut without the Angel Reese shove in the back and Caitlin Clark going, wait, what just happened? Oh, she's got the ball. Let me get her. And it was just kind of a one-handed push. Angel Reese is 6'2". She is way bigger than Caitlin Clark is. So I played basketball, Raphael, and if somebody would have pushed me in the back and I would have gone down, I would have got up and gone to shoot. I wouldn't even thought about anything about it. But Angel Reese has to come back at her as if all of a sudden she got punched in the face. And I don't know how long it's going to take for either Seabass to realize she's severely overrated or for her to embrace her inner heel, because I can't take one more, hey, she just signed another $1 million deal, and then, oh, everybody hates me. It's me against the world. You got to embrace something.
I agree. And the sad part is she had a really good game. She got 17 rebounds, Mrs. Reese had. So that was overshadowed by her using the F-bomb that everything get caught on video, saying that she crazy. But you're right. She needs to accept it. And so I think Caitlin Clark needs to accept her role in this too, because I think they can go really, really well all the way through this season, next season, because we have a nice little rivalry. And Indiana, Chicago is really close. So it's not like it's cross country, this rivalry.
We got to make these rivalries. That's the word that I love that you just used, because part of the problem is that Angel Reese de facto decided she was going to be the voice of the league. She was going to be the one that speaks out about salaries and a work stoppage. Well, it's easy for you, Angel Reese, because you're making all of this money off the court. There's 98% of the league, Raphael, that is not making those endorsements off the court like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark make. So they can go out there and talk about, yep, we're going to sit out until we get what we deserve. What you deserve is what you get because your league loses money. So in order to get it to a point where the TV contracts are at a place where they can make a positive revenue stream, that's what you need. But you got to have people tuned in. So the next TV deal, Raphael, it leapfrogs. Because right now they're in the middle of it, and that's what Angel Reese is trying to say. But I think it'll be a severe mistake if they decide to have a work stoppage when they're in arguably, the best time in the history of their league.
That would crush this league if they had a work stoppage. They're high as high can be, and we have some really good, fantastic players coming in to the league next year and the year before after that. So it would be cool
Mm-hmm.
if they, because I mean, if you watch all the games like I did this week, they were pretty much almost all sold out. New York's game in Brooklyn, every seat was taken when they hung the banner and got their rings. I mean, the Indiana game sold out. This would be a horrible, horrible way to end this momentum if they go on a strike.
They are not only selling out, they're moving games to bigger places. They're undoing what we used to do in wrestling. And I've been through all of this. When I got to WWE, we were selling out everywhere. The Rock was huge, Stone Cold. It was 1999. I was just early 20s, and then 2002 we go all the way down to where there was one time, Raphael, I was cutting a promo in the ring, and we have what we call the hard camera side, where the cameras shoot you, and then you. So that's how arenas are sold first. Is the other side of the arena so that it's on camera with fans, and then the side that you can't see second. I would cut promos to an empty side of the arena. That's how ice cold we were in 2002. And for the WNBA, they do the same thing. You put up the black curtains around and you don't open up the upper deck in a lot of these arenas. And now they're being forced to. That's awesome. That's revenue. That's adding money to your bottom line, which a lot of these NBA owners are. You don't hear about it a lot because they don't want to act like, well, I'm a billionaire and I don't want to pay for a WNBA team. But let's face it, Raphael, you don't become a billionaire by having something that loses money. And right now it's losing money. So they need to figure it out.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting what they do with this work stoppage if it happens. What kind of language they're gonna put in because they need it to save some of these teams. We've already heard Connecticut maybe want to pull it out of the
Yep.
Mohegan Sun and go somewhere. We already know Cleveland wants a team. Golden State released their new team this year. So I mean, the language of the new contract is going to be very, very important.
Yep. You're listening or watching the Coach and Company podcast. We are live every single weekday when I am not traveling, but we're going to fix that as well as we head into the fall. It's going to be an incredibly busy time as we continue to grow here at our BTT studios. He is Raphael. I am the coach. We never go longer than 20 or 30 minutes daily here on the podcast. And shout out to our partners at Believe, our podcast partners as well. Now, Friday night. And it was kind of like the game 7 between the Nuggets and the Thunder. You kind of had that sound in your head, Raphael, the wah, 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 because there was so much anticipation. It was Madison Square Garden. The Celtics had just blown the Knicks out by 25 in game 5. We could do it without Jason Tatum. We've done it before. Oh, wait, no, we can't. And it was almost a victory parade for the Knicks. But my question is this. When you watch the Knicks celebrate with the likes of Stephon Marbury, uh, who else was there?
Ben
Spike Lee,
Stiller, I mean,
Ben
Spike Lee. I
Stiller.
mean, it's
Yeah, you would have thought they won the NBA Finals. Now, it is the first trip back to the Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years. So they should be excited. But they're now facing a team that if you would have told the Knicks 3 months ago, you're going to get the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, would you take it? Every hand would have gone up in the room. This is the best they could have asked for because they also get, wait for it, as I look at the schedule real quick, they also get home field advantage starting on Wednesday. The Western Conference is tomorrow. So Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern. So this also fell perfectly for them to get 4 home games if needed. If you're a Knicks player or fan, how excited are you?
MSG, you're very excited. And I don't care about the excitement. They're like, oh, I can't believe they were so excited. They feel like they won a championship. If you're a Knicks fan or if you're an MSG fan, you haven't had excitement in basketball in that arena for a very, very long time. So I'm happy for them. I'm really interested to see what this series happens because I think if you're the Knicks, you probably wanted to play the Cavaliers, not the Pacers. Because remember, the Pacers started off playing no defense in the beginning of the season. Remember, they were scoring 146 points, giving up
Mm-hmm.
130 points. And then all of a sudden, they found how to play defense. This could be a very hard season or series for the Knicks. If I was the Knicks, I think I'd rather play Cleveland than the Pacers.
Yeah, it's fascinating that you would say that. And when you look at the current state, because you also have to look at it as what are they today? And today, the Cavs would have been a team that was very undermanned, that they were fighting the injury bug, and they were almost like a wounded animal dragging that one leg down the road and just saying, hey, put me out of my misery. The Celtics kind of turned into the same thing, except they were the defending champs. The Pacers, on the other hand, a lot of fans have not been paying attention, but you have, we have, and they are arguably playing as the best team in the Eastern Conference since the All-Star break. And you come out and the way they won their first two series, to me, showed me that not only are they confident, but Tyrese Halliburton is pissed that he was part of that, whoever did the poll for the most overrated player in the NBA. You can't tell me he's shooting more, he's more aggressive, and he normally, Raphael, plays this way, but not to this extent. Don't tell me he's not trying to prove that poll wrong.
He's shooting well, but you know what? I like his dishes. His assists are meaningful. I mean, he throws a dish, the guy scores, and he's in the next court celebrating, pumping fists. He's getting the crowd excited. I think it's his assists is giving his motivation to score, rebound, and giving the team the boost that he's need. I look at him for a total assist in games for his player prep. That's maybe not points and rebounds. I think his dishes are going to be well worth maybe to scrub some winners.
Very interesting. The Pacers also, I think when you look at how they've played and the fact that if you ask a random, even an NBA fan, let's say it's not just a random person, an NBA fan, to name one other player on the Pacers outside of Tyrese Halliburton, my guess is they might be able to get Siakam, but that's probably as far as they can go. This is a no-name team. This is a team that nobody thought would be here at the beginning of the year. Now, coming from the TV world, I always like to predict things. What do you think would be a lower rated series, Raphael? Would it be the Pacers and the T-Wolves or the Pacers and the Thunder?
It's funny how you mentioned you're coming from a TV world. I'm going to come from behind the counter in the sportsbook world. We do not want to see the Pacers and Timberwolves. That'd be one of the world's worst bet series, finals, player prop bets, everything. Because, yes, we all know one team, Anthony Edwards, or one guy, Anthony Edwards, maybe the face of the league. And, yes, we know one person in the Pacers. Those two will be the only ones getting bets. But we really need the Knicks. We really need OKC because OKC was a talk all season long. They're not just one story that just came out of playoffs out of nowhere. We all know about OKC. They got the commercials, the horrible commercials those three guys do. We know OKC all season long. If it's the Pacers and Timberwolves, baseball season is here.
Oh my God, they really are bad. Is it SGA, Chet, and
Isn't it Williams? Isn't it?
Was it Williams?
I think it's Williams. I know it's not Dort. I think it's Williams.
We want all the time for these teams to be great teams. The problem is when you have your star player who's very quiet, it's hard to pump up that team. And the Thunder very well could be on a 3 to 6 year run here in this scenario. But at some point, Raphael, we've seen this a million times, that if you start winning championships, the number 2, 3, and 4 guy, all of a sudden their value goes way up. And when it goes way up, somebody else walks in the door and says, hey, they're going to pay you 10, I'll pay you 20. And as a player, as a human being, you simply can't leave that kind of money on the table. So I would love to say that we're getting ready to enter into the best case scenario with Minnesota, best case scenario with Oklahoma City. But we saw with Boston how quickly you can go from, hey, is this a dynasty? Can we have back-to-back? Can we go 3 in a row like MJ in the 90s to, oh, is it over already? It happens just like that.
I agree. I mean, that's why I give the Patriots and Tom Brady so much credit for their dynasty, because in any sport, it's so hard to do with the salary cap and the money. We mentioned it, the Celtics. We all thought, well, why they can win back-to-back, maybe in 3. But Tatum, he's gone all season long. They're probably going to miss 2 or 3 guys that they're not going to re-sign out of this team coming out of it. It's going to be a horrible seeing the Celtics win a championship and then maybe just be in the middle of the pack next year.
No doubt about it. All right, so the Eastern Conference Finals are set with the Pacers and the Knicks. That game is on Wednesday. And the Western Conference Finals, they are set with the Timberwolves traveling to Oklahoma City. Game number 1 is tomorrow. I believe the Western Conference is on TNT, and the Eastern Conference is on ESPN. Now, You are watching Coach and Company, the podcast. We're here every single weekday. So the easiest thing to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and every time we start a show, ding, you can come and watch us in real time. Now, Raphael, trying to remember who was a part of the conversation. It got very spirited on how much is Brock Purdy worth as a system quarterback and as a team who all of the weapons outside of George Kittle are pretty much gone, including Debo. He breaks the bank. 5 years, $265 million, almost $200 million in guarantees. And this little nugget that nobody's talking about, he got himself a full no trade clause. He literally is going to be able to hold the 49ers hostage. And when Soupy and Zeno were arguing about this, I didn't know which side to go. Zeno is completely wrong. He thought that maybe 25 to 30 million is what Brock Purdy is worth. So he's going to make north of 50 million on average. Were you surprised by the deal?
Can't believe I'm going to say this. I agreed with Soupy in that conversation on Friday because we're talking about the position that everybody's looking for in the NFL. It's the quarterback position. We're not talking about the running back. We're not talking about Debo. We're not talking about CM3, Christian McCaffrey. We're talking about a young quarterback who's already proved himself with the system. I am blown away that he got that no trade clause. It was so hidden when the breaking news.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I clicked on, I forgot what link I clicked on to read a little bit more. And when I read that, I had to refresh the screen and read it again because hats off to you or whoever put that in there. No trade clause was totally the most hidden thing out of this whole story.
Absolute brilliance. I would love to, and it would never happen because it's just not possible. But I would love to have a reality show to watch these negotiations take place.
Oh, love it.
I think part of the reason that they took so long is I don't know who his agent is, but give them credit because what have we seen, Raphael, for the last 3 months since the season ended? We saw Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to sign? Is he going to play? We don't know. Still hasn't signed yet. So then you've got the Giants and the Jets making moves with quarterbacks that we know their name. Not great players, but we know their name. Justin Fields. We know that. Russell Wilson. We know that. Then you got Derek Carr. He retires in New Orleans. So you got all of these moving parts. So if I'm his agent, I'm just sitting back going, wow, would the 49ers ever go into a season when they still have a lot of big money players, even though some have been shipped out, without a quarterback in place? And I would walk into that room with my chest out, shoulders back, and be telling them, boys, this can be very, very, very easy because if it's not you, it's going to be somebody else. So with all of those things that happened in the last 3 months, his bargaining power by waiting rose probably $5 to $10 million a year. Would you agree with that?
Agree. Do you think this starts a trend, though, Coach, with maybe quarterbacks wanting a no trade clause? So you don't have to worry about that. When I was reading that, I was thinking about the next quarterbacks who are up for contracts. Is this going to start something? Because this was unbelievable how the story is not number one story when it comes to NFL. No trade clause for a quarterback for that length of time.
It's crazy to think about a no trade clause because what happens if, God forbid, he gets hurt? What happens if he just plays badly? We saw last year, we have a quarterback that plays great in Minnesota, awful in the playoffs, and now he's gone. And now J.J. McCarthy is hanging out with J.J. Justin Jefferson. To me, the way these contracts are structured, where you only have to get to the guaranteed money, and then after that, you kind of, it's like playing chess because I don't understand all of it. But I'm telling you right now, if you cannot move a player, Raphael, and he's making north of $50 million a year, you better pray he stays healthy, and you better pray that he plays good football because you're stuck. Look at the Browns right now. They're in this exact situation with Deshaun Watson. And he's probably not even going to be the top 2 quarterback next year. And they're stuck because they gave him this ridiculous contract.
You better
Nobody's saying
pray he has
ridiculous about
Montana
Brock
numbers
Purdy.
and
What?
young numbers.
Yeah, go ahead.
You better pray he has Montana numbers and young
Ooh,
numbers to give him a
ooh.
no trade clause for that length of time.
Absolutely incredible. Now, you brought up a very interesting question. What would be the other names that would have enough stroke to demand a no trade clause and get it?
When I was reading that article, CJ Stroud's name came, but then he
Mm.
had a sophomore slump, you can say. He
He-
wasn't the CJ we saw in his first year. Maybe the young JD Daniels, if he has another good couple seasons in Washington and that team's exciting and maybe they win a division and maybe make some more playoff experience, maybe he can be that one. But there's not that many names that I can think that I would want to roll the dice and give him a no trade. I think Patrick Mahomes back in the day, before maybe after he won his first Super Bowl or second one, he could have maybe gotten it. But I just don't see another one coming down the pipe.
And all these guys, the Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Love, they're in the middle of their
Yeah,
deals. And what the Chiefs do, and is every year when because Patrick could walk in and say, I want to have a Nick Saban type of contract. Nick Saban, his contract at one point at Alabama was he had to be the highest paid coach in college football. So when somebody else got a big deal, there was no negotiation. There was, we're paying you an X amount over that deal. So can you imagine, Raphael, sitting in your office and you see, oh, Dabo Sweeney just got $10.5 million a year. And you know that your agent just has to say, hey, can you send over that addendum, please, for 11 million? That's an incredible place to be. But Patrick Mahomes has never done that. He restructures his deal so he can bring in weapons around him because he makes 50, $60 million a year off the field. Very unique situation. But other than Jordan Love or Patrick Mahomes, and no team, Raphael, is going to walk up to a player and go, hey, by the way, can we do you a solid and add this here? That's never going to happen. So to me, those are the only names that I could even think of. But there will be that one, Raphael, that thinks they have more stroke than they do. And you're going to see them on the outside looking in. And that might be a better conversation.
yeah. I mean, Commanders. What if they win the ship this year? That gives such Daniel so much stroke to do something like that if he can bring a ship to Washington.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Very interesting. Very interesting. Finally, before we get the hell out of here, because as I told you, we never go longer than 30 minutes and we stick by that. Don't forget, coming up later today at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, the Coach and Bro Show is me and Vince Russo discuss everything in the world of pro wrestling. Scotty Scheffler, got to give him a shout out. This man is changing the game of golf. He joins Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus as the only players to ever win at least 15 times on the PGA Tour and have 3 majors to their name before their 29th birthday. And this guy has become such a savage competitor, Raphael, that his whole, oh, shucks, I'm a nice guy. Don't let it fool you. This guy wants to beat you and beat you badly. 2 weeks ago, he won at 31 under par. And this weekend, he didn't even know where his ball was going on Thursday and Friday, but he's so great that by Saturday and Sunday, he separated himself with just maybe 8 or 10 holes. How impressed were you with what Scotty Scheffler did and has done?
We can finally say there's a new face in golf. Tiger's in a back pedal now. It is now Scotty Scheffler's world, and we're just all watching him collect trophies. I mean, what he did over the weekend was phenomenal. I wish he has something like that. He does something different every Sunday. Maybe his lucky blue hat or a different glove, because that's what we need to carry him over to be the new face of golf. Because right now, put your face on because it's Scotty Scheffler's world.
That's probably, if there is a negative, which it's I mean, you're splitting hairs here, but he is kind of boring. He
Yes.
is a family guy. He's walking down with the wife who he's been dating since high school. He's got the new son, 2 wins now with his son being alive. He's got his family there. He's had the same coach, Raphael, since he was 7. Since he was
That's crazy. That is crazy right there.
I tell my son this all the time. I was like, son, you got to stick with something. And clearly he's a loyal guy. And I saw an interview with his coach who was literally in tears. And the lady was asking him, why are you so emotional? He said, because I saw something today that was special. I saw a player that did not have his A game, that was really struggling mentally earlier in the week, which we didn't know. We saw them working on the range, but we didn't know how bad it was. And when you're standing over a golf ball and you don't know where it's going, for a pro golfer, that's the worst feeling that you can have, period. And so to watch his coach say he worked on it and worked on it and worked on it. And then Saturday, he plays the last 5 holes in 4 under par to get a 3-shot lead. And then Sunday, he's tied at 9 under par with John Rahm. He ends up winning by 6. And that was maybe the most unbelievable part of the entire final round is he was at 9 under with 9 holes to go and wins by 6. That's greatness. That's greatness.
Yeah, for come from behind. You don't see it yet. When Tiger Woods even ever came from behind back in the day, he was always had big
Always
leads.
ahead.
But when you can come from behind like that and then still win by 6 strokes, that's impressive. I'm with Scotty. I know you're watching this. How about an orange polo?
Something.
Embrace the handcuffs. Embrace the handcuffs. Orange polo on Sundays.
He did admit that he watches Barstool Sports on Sunday mornings before he goes to church. So he admitted that. So he may watch Coaching Company, all kidding aside. I think he does. 2 negative stories from the PGA Championship. I don't know if you saw the video, Raphael, of Wyndham Clark. He had a bad drive and he turned around and he whipped the driver towards he was just on the, just, and it hit like one of the uh, T markers or T boxes, and then there were people calling for a disqualification because he turned around and just threw it as hard as he could after a bad drive. Awful. Then you have Rory McIlroy. 4 days in a row. 4 days in a row, he leaves without speaking to the media. And I'm sorry. I love Rory to death. They were calling this the Rory McIlroy Invitational because he plays his course so well. But you just won the Masters. You just won the career Grand Slam. You have been the face the last 2 months of golf. And Raphael, if you can't get your mind out of the here and the now and understand the spot you're in and the fact that everybody wants to hear from you, to me, that was for him very disappointed.
Yeah, his demeanor of all weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, was worse than what Clark did. Clark should have got DQ'd. I agree on that. But what he did for 4 straight days, not talking to anybody, I thought that was just horrible for his ego, for his name, his brand, everything.
It's been the talk a lot, and I've called two. So I called the Truist 2 weeks ago now, and then can't remember the last one I called in. But we all, everybody I work with played on the PGA Tour or is still playing or waiting for the Champions Tour, something like that. So we sit around and have these great conversations. I would love just to roll tape and just have that and put that content out because the discussions are awesome. But when you get to a point where you are the face of something, this was a big topic. So Shane Lowry at Augusta got pissed. He had a bad round, and they have this big tree where they just do interviews where one-on-one before they go up to the thing. So he was like, listen, I need some time to decompress. I know what you want to ask me about is Rory, but I had a bad day, and this is about me. And then the week before, 2 weeks before at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, Colin Morikawa, he hasn't won in 3 years. And he was in the lead going into Sunday, and he lays an egg, and he refused to meet with the media after the final round was over. And he said at the Players' Championship, hey, listen, I don't feel like I should have to do that if I don't want to. I'm a member of the media, so are you. If you're making millions of dollars playing on the PGA Tour, to me, it is your duty, especially where the golf space is right now. It's struggling right now. That's just what it is. And if you're the face, you're one of those two guys, you got to speak. Now, should it be 30 minutes? Maybe. But to me, you can't leave without talking to the media. You just cannot.
We always hear from the losing Super Bowl coach. We always list. We always hear
Always.
from the losing team and maybe who missed a free throw or whatever. We always hear from sometime in 24 hours. I agree. We don't have
That's
to
it.
hear right away, half hour, whatever, or even do an Instagram video. Just something we want to hear from you within 24 hours. That is your obligation. We paid to see you. We want to pay to hear you if you do something wrong.
Yeah. Hey, Rory, you made $4 million to win the Masters. Talk to the media. Talk to the media. Well done today, sir. Well done today. You can see Raphael and myself tomorrow morning on Coach and Company Live at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on the Stadium Network and everywhere Stadium is. Quick reminder, Coach and Bro today at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And then tonight, it is the last word. As soon as Monday Night Raw is over, you'll be able to have us all break that down. For Raphael, my numbers guy, for producer man behind the scenes, I am the coach. We will see you tomorrow. There is only one, the Coach and Company podcast. Take care.